All right, what's up, you guys? Shiz and Jan back for what we are going to start calling the post-game show. It's where what it sounds like. We beat a game and we're feeling a lot of things about it. We're gonna talk about it following our finishing of it. We didn't do that with Backbone or anything like that because those were pretty brief in how we're feeling. But Life is Strange is definitely an important series to Jan, and us being able to do that. I think even when we played Life is Strange 1, did you watch me play? Or did I tell you about it? I don't remember.
Life is Strange, when it first came out,
because you gave me the game.
Yes, so I came across the game on, I think I played a little bit of it, and then I wasn't able to complete it, so I just watched it on YouTube, and I loved it so much. And you always, even to this day, you always recommend games to me.
Right.
So I was like, this is my opportunity to shine. Let me tell Shiz about a game.
Right.
And so I got it for you. And
right.
I don't know if we played it like together, but I do remember you saying that you did play and that you did enjoy it.
Okay.
But that's as far as I can remember.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, because the thing that I was forgetting about was that I definitely remember, at least in that, was like when that girl jumps off the roof or whatever, and I remember just being like, I think I must have texted you like, yo, Katie or whatever the fuck her name is.
Yeah, Kate Marsh.
Yeah, and you were like, and I was like, okay. I was like, all right, now I'm in this game for real. But yeah, no. So I guess to talk about True Colors, I didn't know what to expect coming in. I know you had said you had some expectations based on the way that they were talking about it.
Yeah.
I kind of, like, when I was getting it, I was like, okay, I want to play this game with you. I feel like if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah.
Not that I wasn't interested, but it hooked me. It definitely hooked me. It looks beautiful. The sound, everything is incredible. The acting is incredible. And I just really enjoyed the story. So, I mean, I'll let you talk a lot about it first while I keep people distracted with this stupid fucking thing.
You're playing the video game?
Yeah, I'm playing the Mind thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll just share like general thoughts. You know, yeah, like Shiz was kind of alluding to. I just watched that cart.
God damn it.
Fuck you up, bro.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Just like Gabe.
You know, just like Gabe. Look, coming into when season 2 first came out, I was really excited for it because of how amazing season 1 was. Like, just to kind of put it into perspective for all of you guys, Life is Strange season 1 is probably in like the top 3 of my favorite video games of all time. And I feel like, especially when you take into account, it's a game that I did not think was going to be amazing. Like, when I first got the game, the year that game I think came out was the same year that I think Last of Us 1 came out, and I think BioShock Infinite came out either the winter the year before or that year. But regardless, that year, I believe I played, because it was my senior year of college.
Right.
I played Last of Us, or I watched a walkthrough for Last of Us. I played or watched a walkthrough of BioShock Infinite, which is my favorite game of all time. And then Life is Strange. So in that one year, I played or watched walkthroughs for my 3 favorite games of all time.
Okay.
And I had no expectations for Life is Strange because, you know, BioShock is like this like very well-renowned, you know, like gaming series. Same with now, I mean, Last of Us, because, you know, you have, Naughty Dog, and Naughty Dog's put out so much great work.
Right.
The Life is Strange season 1 really came out of nowhere. And I just love the story, and I, you know, bloviate about the character development and the overall story. And there really isn't much that they got wrong in that game for me. But I think it helps when you have nothing to compare it to. So now season 2, you have this baseline of Life is Strange 1, which is such an incredible game in my eyes, and it really, really wet the bed for me, I guess. And there was just so much with it that I didn't like. I felt like they were really driving home the racial tropes, which, you know, fine. It fits at that point, given where we were at, you know, as a country and the political realm and everything. Sure. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to make that such a huge theme in a video game that is going to be mostly played by people that are like, I think the 18 to early 30 age group. It didn't really feel necessary. So heading into this game, I really didn't have high expectations, but I was somewhat hopeful seeing, the art, like the graphics that they had shown and the way they had advertised it. And now I have to say, with this game being over, while there are some things that I'm sure we will talk about that we didn't like about the game, they knocked this out of the park. I mean, it is so good. It still is not as good as season 1 for me, but it is much closer to season 1 than season 2 in terms of my level of contentness. I'm so happy with how they did this game. The character development was pretty good. It got better. I felt like as the game went on, they did a really good job early on with like, okay, Gabe is dead and we don't really have a good bond with any of these characters. And then we slowly start to learn about everybody, which I really, really like. And then, they did a good job of, I think they knew they were making certain things obvious, like with Mac and then with Diane. And then they have like this whole subplot, and they still got me. Like, you were out on Jed the whole time, but I don't even think you saw him pulling out the gun at the end of episode 4, Right. So they did a good job with all that stuff. And what I really like is they kept the things that worked in Life is Strange season 1 there. You have those cinematic moments with, again, phenomenal music selection. Every single song, there wasn't one time where they missed. I'm pretty sure I even asked you at least twice in this series, have they missed yet? Because they did not. I knew the answer, and I knew you knew the answer. Like, for you guys back home, when I was driving home to play episode 5 with Shiz tonight, Shiz literally texted me the song from the scene with Charlotte that I'm pretty sure you alluded to.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
He sent me that, and I missed the text, and I was so upset. And he was like, yeah, I listened to that song 8 times on repeat. Like, the musical choices, the cinematic scenes, those were huge parts of the game. Those, like, retrospective moments that they brought back, and they did a great job with. And, I mean, ultimately, I just liked Alex. I thought she was a very sympathetic character, and I felt for her the same way I kind of felt for Max. And I'm not sure if it's because they were both female protagonists. I don't think that's why I liked them more than I liked the protagonist and the brother in season 2. Yeah. But I just don't think they were as well written. I don't know what it was, but here, and you know what it is? Maybe it's the sense of community. You have the sense of community in seasons 1 and season 3 that you don't have in season 2 because you're always on the move, know?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I kind of want to stop here. I want to get your take because I don't want to go on for hours and hours and hours. What's your overall thought on Life is Strange season 3, True Colors?
So, I'll say for me personally, this one right here is my favorite out of the 3. I've come to that determination. I think it was the moment when we're watching the what could be moment at the end with Gabe and he's narrating everything. That was the moment where I was like, yeah, this is the one for me based on everything, the culmination of everything.
That was beautiful.
I will say definitely. I was gonna say Stranger Things.
You say Stranger Things, I say Last of Us.
The second game, Life is Strange 2, definitely my least favorite of them. The racial aspect of it, not the problem for me. Not that you're saying it's, not that you're saying that that's the problem.
No,
but
yes.
Like, usually when it comes to that type of storytelling, my whole thing is like, are we saying the thing or are we solving the thing? And I feel like the game doesn't really, that game in particular, the storytelling of that doesn't really solve the thing. It's just like doing the surface level. Hey, we're aware of these things going on, but within the story itself, I feel like I didn't feel satisfied, and there was so much shit going on. And the thing that's complicated about that story, and it's almost essential with what the story they were going for, is the fact that, like you said, there's no sense of community because you're constantly moving in that one. But that's kind of like the whole point of their struggle. Like they're dealing with having to go back to wherever, I forget wherever they're headed.
They were trying to go to Mexico.
Okay, so trying to cross the border back, like go back that way. And like, so it's just kind of dealing with that whole aspect of what people who are undocumented have to go through, like in everyday life type of shit, you know. So like, I get why it's that story had to be told in that way, but you know, I don't. There's something about like kids that I just don't give a shit about. You know what I'm saying? Like Ethan, like in this game, I didn't give a shit about Ethan until I did. Like I thought like his whole moment in chapter 3 was incredible. But before that, I didn't give a shit about it. I didn't even give a fuck about him at the beginning of chapter 3 when he's complaining, I don't want to do it. I'm gonna make everybody just shut up and fucking LARP, you loser. But then by the end of it, when the alarm goes off and you know he's dealing with PTSD, now I'm like, okay, that sucks. Like I like, you know, but like like so that's the other problem I had with Life is Strange 2 is that it's all about this little brother. I don't give a fuck about him. I don't give a fuck about him. I'm not even playing as the one with the superpowers. That's fucking whack. Like
exactly.
Yeah, but that's enough about Life is Strange 2. Life is Strange True Colors, I will say, my major gripe throughout the whole thing, and I've mentioned it consistently, is the captions part, the subtitles ruining the surprise of the voice acting and the dialogue before we even get to hear it. Like the moment with Jed pointing the gun at the back of her head, it should have been Jed space as the camera starts to, you know, turn and you see him standing behind you. Then why are you sad? Not Jed period, why are you sad? But she hasn't even finished saying Jed yet. Like there's so much spacing in the voice acting to deliver the emotion, to deliver the dramatics, and the subtitles fucking ruin that. And that happens with a lot of shows, you know, like
it does.
Like, you know, like when you see like someone's dialogue gets cut off, I usually expect someone to get shot all of a sudden, you know, depending on the show. So not that that's what happened here, but we already saw the gun.
Correct.
But I feel like that was definitely a weak point, something that they could work on for the future. But overall,
well, I was gonna say that actually is a nice transition into something else I wanted to say or ask you, which is what else did you not like about the game? Because we can talk about how many things we did like,
right?
But what didn't you like?
I literally, as you were just saying that, I'm reminded of what we were kind of talking about in an earlier episode where you said the thing that is holding one over this is the supporting cast felt more fleshed out in 1 than 3, and and I 100% I agree with that. I think for and yes, I still agree with that. But I think for me, I just really like Alex. I think she feels like such a real thing. Like visually, I was obsessed with the art style and everything. Like I think in the earlier videos, I'm like, oh my gosh, she looks so good. She looks so real. Like it just looks incredible. And then the game goes and glitches her fucking hair through her glasses. But you know what I'm saying? like the lighting and all this stuff it made her feel real. So I think like we get so much from her that I don't know. For me, and I know Max and Chloe were super important to you and like their relationship and everything they went through. For me, I didn't necessarily have that level. And even here, like I don't have that level with Alex and Steph. But because I like Alex so much, that's what puts it over for me. But again, the supporting cast could be so much better. Steph and Ryan could be so much better. But I think, you know, you get this whole thing of like, it's up to you who you want to be, like who you want your love interest to be. Whereas like Life is Strange 1, fucking Warren is there, but no one wants to get with fucking Warren.
Fuck Warren.
Fuck Warren. You forgot his name. You forgot he was even there. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think like that one was more like, why wouldn't you fall for Chloe in that game? Whereas this one is like, especially based on the percentages at the end. Imagine you go for Ryan and you fuck something up, like you don't get enough people convinced or whatever the fuck, and he disagrees with you and believes his father over you despite the fact that you kiss or whatever,
That would be hilarious.
That would be, I think that would have been, like, if we had fallen down that line, I think that would have been incredible storytelling. Like, we would have just been like, oh my God,
that
devastating.
yes.
Where it feels like with Steph, there's no, like, maybe the bottle thing has Steph disagree with you, but I don't remember if that was even in the percentages that Steph wouldn't believe you, right?
Yeah, I feel like she still would.
Yeah, so I think that's.
And if anything, that moment would just, I feel like that moment would just like lead to there being doubt, like whether or not it would happen, like her supporting you.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just.
So I definitely agree with that. Yeah, we can take a look. I will say though, like, yes, I totally agree. Like, if you just like kind of go down the list of like the parallels between season 1 and season 3's characters, like, you know, I kind of agree with you. Like, I love Max, like, and I think I love Max because Max was the first protagonist in this whole series. So there's always going to be that bias of she was the first. And she felt like a younger sister to me when I was playing the game. Like, I found myself like protective of Max. And like when Max would like do all these like crazy powers and her like nose would start to like bleed, like I would feel for her. Like, which was such a weird thing in the moment for me to feel as like a guy in college playing a video game. But I'm like, that's just a sign of good storytelling. They've made me really feel empathy or, you know, sympathy for this character in a video game. I think that Alex is more fleshed out. Like, we get the backstory that we got in season 2 with the boys and their dad and all their struggles. We get that, but they give us so much more with Alex that I feel like Alex is the combination of Max and I gotta get the names of the boys. Wasn't it like Danny or something?
Bro, I genuinely don't remember. You're gonna have to Google it. I literally don't even fucking remember.
Was it Danny? Sean and Daniel. Yeah, so Daniel's the brother. Sean is the brother,
right?
Yeah, the younger brother. Daniel's the younger brother, and Sean was the protagonist that you play as. But like with them, you get the backstory of like their dad. But like with Max, you don't really know much about like her family. You just know that like, if anything, it's funny where like the functional families you don't really relate to, you know, but you have all these dysfunctional families or families that have deceased family members where now you're like, okay, I feel for this character now,
right?
You know, and they got that with Alex so well. So I like Alex in that regard. Like, not in a vacuum, I like Alex more than Max. But I think literally everyone else, like, Steph is a great character. In my opinion, she doesn't hold a candle to Chloe. Chloe was
and they even came from the same
written.
game.
Yeah, they did, exactly. But Chloe was so well written. You know, if you look at Warren, was so much better like written. Like, we were never ever gonna be like, we should date Ryan. We didn't know anything about Ryan.
Yeah, other than his creepy fucking smile and his shitty jokes.
Yeah, exactly. And like with Warren, we knew Warren was like this like super nerdy guy, and in a way they kind of made him relatable. He's the friend zone guy. The guy who never gets it with this girl, and he tries, and his final moments in like that hurricane scene or the whole like tsunami scene, you know, in Arcadia Bay when they're at the Whale Diner, and I didn't kiss him. I hugged him, you know, because fuck Warren.
Yeah, no, I didn't kiss him either.
I felt bad, you know. And I was like, oh, so this is what it was like when I was the friend zone kid in high school that was getting rejected by all the girls. Like, that's how it felt, you know? Like, it's crazy. And then you have Nathan, you know, you have all these characters who are so well fleshed out. And, I mean, the big one that we didn't even get to talk about because, you know, this happened after the fact, but Mark Jefferson is so much better written, in my opinion, than Jed, you know?
Right, so
because, Go ahead.
So I was actually gonna bring up Mark Jefferson, right? I was gonna bring him up because he's an example of that shit that I was talking about before, where when they're writing this thing for both games, you have the character that's like he's too good to be true, and then whoops, you are the guy with a gun, like you know. That's why I wasn't shocked by Jed, because they did the same shit with Mark. where he's this celebrity photographer and like all the girls love him and all this shit, which was why I was already immediate suspect of it, because I'm like, bro, you're fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like you're like, that's weird as fuck.
Yeah, but even that, like, what I love about Life is Strange 1 is that he's such a good job of putting the villain in front of your face, and they're basically giving you proof that they're an awful person. Like, if you go back, any of you back home that are watching this, if you go and play or just watch the first 5 to 10 minutes of Life is Strange Season 1, Episode 1, the first classroom scene, when Mark Jefferson says something along the lines of, imagine yourself trapped like in a dark corner, and he like basically tells you what he's gonna do to Max at the start of episode 5. He tells you, like, go back and watch it. It's right there, and it goes right under my nose, you know. Right. And it's like, okay, I missed out on Jed being bad, you know. It made sense, right? But they made it so obvious in season 1, episode 1, that Mark Jefferson was a bad guy, and I still didn't see it coming. And then you see him with the gun, and you're like, oh shit. And then you see episode 5. They give you the teaser trailer for episode 5.
Right, yeah.
And you just hear Max in the background, like, in a dazed state, being like, no, please don't do this. And you see Mark Jefferson's gloved up hand with a syringe.
Right, yeah.
And it just gets you like, oh, I'm getting angry just thinking about it, you know? But, like, they did such a good job of making you, like, despise Mark Jefferson. I can't say I hated Jed the way I hated Mr. Jefferson.
Right.
But they definitely tried, and I appreciate them for doing that. And I still didn't like him, you know?
Right.
It felt like, for me, the payoff wasn't great. You know, the payoff with Mark Jefferson was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it, you know, because you have that whole payoff, and then, you know, Nathan was involved in that whole thing with Rachel Amber too. And then you have Nathan calling you and leaving you the voicemail being like, I'm scared, I'm sorry, I know I fucked up. Like, you got closure. I didn't like the way we got closure. Like, episode 5 kind of felt rushed, in my opinion, and I don't love that.
Right.
You know, also, maybe I just completely missed this. You can tell me, what the hell is Rhea? Right?
Yeah,
they made it sound like this huge thing, like, oh, Rhea this, Rhea that. If we're just gonna say Rhea was the name of the old mine, that's kind of a cop-out. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I think so, real quick, as an aside, back in chapter 3, we listened to that song, 28%. Sugar Pie Riot is actually not the name of the actual song. It's from either a band or whatever. Far Caspian. The song's called Finding My Way Home. It's a really good song. That was the song that we enjoyed in the apartment. But anyway, just wanted to get that out of the way. So with Rhea, that's actually another thing I wanted to talk about. So I'm glad you brought it up. The transition from like Life is Strange 1, 2, and 3. Let's just call this 3. Fuck it. I feel like Life is Strange 1 had all this supernatural shit going on at the end,
yep.
Right? Like you have this these strange phenomena going on because she's fucking with time, and I get that. But it went so left with it, you know? Like there's whales washing up on the beach. There's
correct
Chloe in a wheelchair. There's fucking, I don't know, birds falling from the sky. And then there's fucking hurricane catastrophe superstorm coming. Life is Strange 2. I don't know what the fuck was going on. What a dog got killed by a jaguar, like, or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I remember that.
that was just like, okay, but where's like the weird? Where's the weird? And I think this was Rhea definitely should have been something weird. It felt like like there could have been more oomph in that. I think they were trying to make this a little bit more realistic. So that's probably why. But yeah, I guess Rhea's maybe if it's not the name of the old mine, it has to be the operation, like the name of the operation to do the cover up, like a code name for it or whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
But
I just don't like that much
yeah.
ambiguity. You know, like I don't like that
Yeah.
very much. And in general, like, you know, I was, you know, mentioning how I felt like, you know, the payoff wasn't great. Like, it just felt like there was so much that they could have accomplished in episode 5 if they just let it bleed for like 30 more minutes. Like,
Right.
give us a little more time in the cave. I just felt like we're down there, and at first I was like, oh, we're going to just climb the ladder, we're going to escape. And then when we fell, I was kind of hopeful that we were going to get to explore a little more, because then I realized, like, okay, we're going to actually go into this mine, and we're going to figure out, you know, what exactly his hidden secret is.
Right.
And then it's like we get the little pendant that Alex threw at her dad, and then she just walks out, and then she just walks into the bar.
Right.
And it's like, I don't like how choppy that felt. It didn't feel smooth.
Yeah, you were like, we're gonna spend an hour in a cave, and then we got out. And I was like, well, that was 8 minutes.
That was 8 minutes, and then it's like, okay, well, then we're gonna spend 30 minutes plotting how to get back at Jed, right? We're not just gonna walk, and then there's when Jed makes that face with Diane, my heart sank. 'Cause I'm like, fuck, it's gonna end here. Like, I'm like, we're not gonna, like, Alex is gonna limp in and be like, he killed me, and it's just like, there's so many things that they could have done better, I feel like, with that ending. Like,
right.
Like Diane, I don't like the payoff coming in the form of like an interview we listened to, like a snippet of on a laptop
that
for
I
Diane.
Fucked up.
I hate that.
That I fucked up.
But honestly, like I hate that.
Right.
You know, like it's not intimate. Like, I wanted a moment between like Alex and Diane. Instead of Alex going to Diane being like, no one asked you, give them their own moment. Like, let her kind of walk her way through everything.
Like, let's fuck her up too.
Yeah,
like, not just Jed.
Because like, and it's like, yes, is she like guilty directly? No, but it's like, you're trying to get this promotion, and it's like, you know, I don't know. I just, you know, it felt like okay, maybe Jed is like the head of the operation, but like with this whole like big organization thing, it just felt like they're chasing this huge entity, and we never got to see whatever that girl's name was, Lena, who was like Diane's boss.
Yeah.
It felt the same in that regard, like season 2, where it's like Danny and Sean are fighting against the U.S. government. That is like way too big of an entity for you to get that payoff of like you beat the Top Gun. In season 1, they kept it simple. Right. It's this dirty, disgusting, like drugging photography thing being ran by Mark Jefferson and Nathan, and you have Mark Jefferson arrested, and you have Nathan basically saying, I'm sorry.
Right,
you know?
Right.
You get the payoff. Like, the head of the operation, they get canned. But it's like, Hyphen still exists, you know? And it's like, you know, playing devil's advocate, what's stopping them from, you know, running amok again if, you know, the city of Haven really is in, you know, if they're really getting paid by Typhon. I don't know. There's just so much that I don't like about that.
Right.
But I mean, at least for me, besides that, that's really all I didn't like. I know some of those are like major, but you know, if you don't look at it as like a comparison to season 1, I think by itself, this is a fantastic game. Like, if you like story-driven games, it doesn't get much better than this in terms of like recent games that have come out.
Right.
And it's still beautiful.
Another thing that I'm wondering, which we will never know, is how much does each game benefit from the episodic thing? Because this is just straight up, boom, here's everything in one go. So how much is the planning and the storytelling affected by that for this versus the Life is Strange one? We know we're going episodic. So like, you know, like obviously there's no answer to that we have. We don't know. We're not breaking this up into like months long things for the True Colors, and we've already experienced Life is Strange 1 the way we did. But how much in terms of like the game design and like coming up with storytelling, how much does that impact the decisions that were made in terms of pacing and stuff like that? So that's a
great point.
Yeah, that's not something that I'll easily figure out, you know? Maybe
but you're right.
Right, because that could be why those last 2 episodes feel so rushed.
I mean, I think that actually makes the most sense, because not only that, but the endings to some of those episodes were awful. Like, Alex falling, she gets shot in the face, and then it's just her falling. Mm-hmm. They could have ended that a little differently. I feel like, you know, like life. Like again, I hate to keep tying it back to season 1, but like you have that scene where you have Mark Jefferson tranquilizing basically Max. Right. You know, shooting her in the neck or whatever with that dart. that makes her pass out, and then you have just like a 15-second tidbit of the syringe, the glove, and the red binder that says Max on it. Like, and that's it. And that was all they needed to do. It was so simple but so effective. They could have done something like that. And maybe, like you're saying, if they gave us breaks between each episode, it would have worked. I'm hopeful. I was hopeful at least that them not doing the episodic thing wouldn't hinder their ability to treat each part like an episode, like a chapter. But you're right. It definitely affected it in a negative way, and that kind of docks it in my eyes. Like, it docks its score in my eyes. But I mean, besides that, I don't really have much else I want to say. The last thing that I'll say, because I feel like we talked about the positives, and we kind of crapped on the game a little bit. I do kind of want to end it on a personal note for me, because, you know, like you mentioned, one of the first things you mentioned, I think, actually, if not the first, was that, like, soliloquy by Gabe at the end, where he's talking about, like, if Alex stays in Haven, what the possibilities are. Like, that was so beautifully done. You know, like, I loved that. And like you said, and like I was saying in that moment, it really felt like, you know, the game throughout the entirety of the game always was kind of driving us towards one option that they kind of made relatively clear for most of their big choices. You know, like, we had the take the anger from Charlotte, you know, that we could have done, and then you had then we didn't. We ended up just leaving her alone. That ended up being the right thing, you know? And then you have the sign the affidavit, or, you know, take away Pike's fear, and we go with what we think is right, and that works out. In this case, like, Haven made the most sense, because it's like, well, you know, in this episode, this series, we're chasing a feeling of belonging. Here's a girl who's been bounced around orphanage to orphanage to orphanage because her mom died and her dad literally left. And she's had nowhere. She's had to deal with potential foster parents looking at her like a caged animal, saying why they wouldn't want her because she starts fights with all the other kids. You know, she's this misunderstood kid who finally finds a place. She comes here, excited to be here, and her brother is killed the same day. And then she makes all of these amazing friendships, and it's like she finally belongs, and then she gets an inkling as to what led to her brother's death. And then the place where she supposedly is working towards belonging, she ends up getting betrayed by the head honcho of New Haven, you know? And then it's like you have this, like, somewhat of a payoff for, like, he gets kicked out. It just made sense for her to stay. And the whole reason why I bring this all up, the reason why I love this, is because for me, this is closure. My circle is now complete with Life is Strange, because as Shiz, I think, is mentioned in one of our parts, at the end of season 1, I went with the more controversial option of destroying Arcadia Bay and going off into the sunset with Chloe, because the other option was you basically erase all the events of the game and you go back to the beginning and you sit in the stall and you listen to your best friend get killed.
Not your best friend, your fucking lover.
Your lover. Yeah. Should you choose to go that route, which if you don't go that route, don't play this game. Like, just go play something else. I'm sorry. Just don't. But, like, you listen to Chloe get killed, and that scene is gut-wrenching. Like, I remember I picked the scene that I said with everyone dying, and I was fine. I went back and I watched the scene where you choose to go back in time and let Chloe die, and I fucking cried so hard. Because you build such an emotional connection to these characters, and it's like, just everything is so well done in that whole scene. They really took your hearts, you know. So for me, like, it really made no sense. I also didn't have as strong a tie to Arcadia Bay or those characters. I felt like their story in Arcadia Bay was done, and I know that's controversial. That's what I felt.
Even the babies.
And I felt like even the babies. Fuck the babies. Fuck everything there. Like, it's over. Rachel Amber is dead. Mark Jefferson was arrested. Like, you know, did I feel bad for some characters? Sure. Like Mark Mattson, fucking step douche. Yeah, he had a great character arc. I loved it. You know, Nathan, still a shitty kid, but yeah, he understood the wrongs of his ways. Like, there was no, I don't want to say there's no wrong answer, because then it sounds like I'm justifying my choice, but I confidently felt like I did the right thing, and I would do it again. Just like in Last of Us, when I mentioned how I would kill every doctor in that hospital again as Joel. Like, I don't care. Is it immoral? Absolutely.
Right.
But give me the gun in that game, and I would do it again.
Yeah.
You know,
No matter the outcome.
no matter the outcome. I'm talking about completion in this game.
Yeah.
So in season 1, I'm talking about how it made sense for me as Max to escape with Chloe, have Arcadia Bay destroyed, and start life anew somewhere else.
Yeah.
But in this game, it made so much more sense.
And continue life. Yeah.
Yes, because Alex belongs to New Haven, and to me, Max belonged to Chloe.
Okay.
And Chloe was an adventurous spirit. So for me, that's what I love about this game. They found a way to get me to want to stay.
You know what's funny?
And they fucking did it.
You know what's funny? And this is a testament to the last thing, like one of the last things Gabe said, and I'm going to tie it to what you said. This place transformed her as much as she transformed it. And I think for Max and Chloe, they transformed each other.
Beautifully said. I could not agree more.
Whereas Max literally transformed Arcadia Bay into a wasteland. But,
I do it again.
But also, now that I'm thinking about it, and again, for me personally, 3 is my favorite. Not saying 1 is better than the other. I just like 3 more. But again, they're all better than 2. But I think the stakes for 1 are there. Like, they're clear. They're there. You lose Chloe literally. It's not like, oh, we're not together. She's dead or people are dead. Like, people are dying continuously throughout this. Whereas this game, there's not really any stakes. You know, like the biggest stakes we thought was, oh my God, Charlotte's gonna kill herself. But I think the problem that this one might have also faced is that a big criticism of 2 is that it was just nothing but like misery porn, where it's like there was no happiness. Like in terms of like, dad's dead. Okay, now we gotta run away. Can't be with the love of my life or whatever. You know, teenage love. The superhero kid could also fucking get killed. Like all this crazy shit can happen, and none of it is good. So like, yeah, there's some stakes, but also like, do I even care when you killed the dog? You know what I'm saying? Like, the dog got eaten alive. That wasn't even something you could have prevented.
Correct.
And then at the end, there's like 4 different endings of like, you either barrel through the border, and then you still die, or you give up your brother and he goes to jail, and I think that's probably the best. Oh no, you go to jail. I think that's the best ending, right? It's like, one of you goes to fucking jail and you see each other years later, and then you get to be with the girl. That's the best ending. Is going to jail. So like, which is
awful.
Yeah, it's, or you know, the worst ending is the brother, you're dead, but your brother makes it to Mexico, and now he's a fucking like crime lord sitting on the beach like fucking Sora from Kingdom Hearts, but now he's got Xehanort blood in him or some shit. I don't know. He's like Riku. All this shit. So it's
like it's not satisfying.
Yeah, so that game is just but like when it comes to the stakes between these two, definitely life. The first one has a lot more stakes to it, and I feel like at no point did I feel like we were in danger of people dying more than already had. I guess you know, like
correct.
So there's that. There are a lot of parallels you can make to 1 though. You know. And so these are definitely 2 very good games. Jan really loves 1. I
really love 3.
Oh no, but I'm saying out of
They're
the
both
2,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Like me saying Life is Strange 1 is better, just to be clear, is no indictment on True Colors, because True Colors is a phenomenal game. I mean, this is probably, in terms of story-driven games, I don't think I've enjoyed a game this much that's story-driven in years. And that's maybe kind of saying something. I can't really think of many other story-driven games that I've either played or watched that I've really enjoyed. Like Last of Us 2, you just can't compare these two. Like, I feel like Last of Us 2 is just like, it's a AAA game. You know it's going to deliver. And it's like, this game, like, I had no expectations for Season 1 because there's nothing to base it off of. I had little expectation for Season 3, for True Colors, because Season 2 was dog water, you know?
Right, yeah.
So it's like, I walked into this and it just wowed me. And I think that's something that, at least for me, I'll be happy to end on. Besides the fact that this is like a completionist thing for me, where it's like the first season I wanted to leave, the season I wanted to stay, but like they just find a way to like blow my expectations out of the water in the most simplest way possible. They don't wow you with graphics. Like there's so many better looking games graphically, and these larger development companies or game developers, they have the funds to put together these like well written beautiful games. This game, they don't have to do much. They show that like sometimes less is more, and simple can be beautiful, and they did that to like the umpteenth degree in both season 1 and in this season, and I really hope that we get a season 4,
Right. I mean,
I think people like you
didn't play what was their side thing? I know it wasn't Deck 9, but it was the
Which
original
one?
group, right? The Tell Me Why one or whatever.
Tell me why?
Yeah. There was fuck. That was one of the games that they had
Like besides Life is Strange?
yeah, it was like similar but it's like
Man, I'll check it out.
yeah, Tell Me Why by what the fuck? I think it's a Don't Nod game.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, Don't Nod made Tell Me Why.
Interesting. No, I've never played it. No, the only other games I've played by them are like their DLC, which aren't really games.
Right. I mean, this one came out last year, but I mean, I wasn't really interested in it. I mean, if it had the Life is Strange name thrown on it, maybe. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if that's one we'll play. I've heard like hit or miss, whereas True Colors raving reviews and stuff like that, and we could see why. It's fucking beautiful.
It's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
And what I like is now like this gives me hope for like if there is a Life is Strange, season 4, that now I'll be really excited to go into that one. And even if I'm let down again, like I'm appreciative of this game giving me hope again in this series, because it was not looking great after season 2. But this really, really felt great, you know. And I'm hopeful that whether it's they tweak a few things that we like, or they add some other things that we didn't even talk about, that we didn't even think about. I have enough faith in their team that they can put together another really nice story. I think they've shown us that they have the capability of producing a really good story with really nice fleshed out characters multiple times now. Right. So I hope that they don't revert back to something stupid. Yeah.
I would also say this doesn't necessarily affect us, but if you're gonna do a setting for streamer friendly option or whatever, was it live stream? If you're gonna do a setting for this where you can turn off the music, put something there. I've watched so many like other people doing it without the music or anything like that, and it's just silence.
Silence. Or it's even worse. Have you seen? Okay, if you guys haven't seen anyone else's walkthrough, which if you've not, I appreciate you.
This is actually interesting. If we were actually live stream, but we don't do that, where you can let people vote. That's crazy.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Wow. Okay, but
way to go.
Yeah, that's not something I feel like for this series we wouldn't do, because we like going back.
No, I like I like it being our walkthrough. No offense to the viewers, but like I just thought that made it like more enjoyable.
Right. Yeah, because then at that point you all might as well be playing yourself.
Exactly. But also, what I was gonna say was, if you go back to the point you were making about them, the copyright music option where you just like mute the music. That scene in episode 1 where you have Alex and Gabe like jamming out on the air guitars, it's fucking awkward, cringy, funny, because you hear them making like the little noises, and it's like there's no music in the background, so it's like it just sounds really, really bad, but it's hilarious. So yeah, I'm very happy that we're not worried about monetization with this, so we can actually have the music play in the background.
Yeah, but definitely I would say for them to like do better with that. Like I get it, but like do better.
Yeah. I think that's all I basically have. I mean, I loved it. This was such a good game. Really a breath of fresh air.
I'm glad we got to do this together.
Yeah,
but, I mean, I'm always glad. Every fucking game we play together has been even if they're not the best, I think we've had a lot of fun with them because we're doing it together, so that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, we can go back and joke about how Kentucky Route Zero's,
God,
like scripts broke us,
bro, like it
and we
literally,
can joke
yeah.
about it now.
We
It
gave
did.
up. We gave up on that game. I'm glad
I
we
will
finished it,
never
but we gave
forget,
up.
bro. You didn't just give up on the game. You gave up on my ability to read. Like I remember reading lines, and you were just like spamming A or X just to get through all the lines. It was fantastic.
Yeah, if you want to talk about an unsatisfying ending, that that fucking game gave us no fucking closure of what happens to fucking, I don't even remember his name anymore. Billy, the Bobby, what was it? The guy we were playing at the beginning of the game? Yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah. I don't even know. Yeah. So like,
I think his name was Jed.
So you compare it to those games, Life is Strange is game of the year.
Right, yeah. In terms of what we played,
know?
in terms of what we posted on the channel this year, I'd say, yeah, game of the year.
Yeah.
We do have, of course, this to play next. We won't do a post game of this probably, but I from what I know, it's just about when Steph moves to town. So kind of her, story. I literally says story, but from when she moves there to, I guess, before Alex shows up.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully we'll meet Izzy.
Yeah, we have to. We absolutely have to.
Yeah, because like, how do you say? How are you like? How are we getting memories of the only trans person in the game who knew Steph really well because they were in the same band together, and then you don't give us that character at all? So they have to. And then I know there's some other references to Life is Strange 1 as well in this, so we'll see. But definitely.
Yeah, and I do think that this is a good opportunity for them to flesh out Steph's character a lot more because, it's really frustrating that they couldn't do that in the game because, like, and I don't want to make this comparison, but I think it's a good thing for them to strive for. With Ellie in Life is Strange 1, her character is so well. Wait, is it not Ellie?
Wait, what are you talking about? Life is Strange 1?
Oh, sorry. The Last of Us. I was in The Last of Us, the first Last of Us, they fleshed out Ellie's character so well, and we still got the DLC with her and her friend.
That gave us even more,
Yeah, which is great. Like, I'm cool with that. I will never complain about you giving us... Well, okay, not never. You can mess up giving us too much information on your character, but, like, if you make it relevant to the character and to the story as a whole, give it to us. It makes us have a more intimate bond with the characters, and then when we have these like big time choices that we have to make in the game, it makes them more difficult because we've bonded with the characters. I think you and I both really wanted to love Steph, and we just loved Steph, I think, a lot more because the other option was Ryan, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Like, I want to love Steph because of Steph. Like, I loved Chloe not because the other option was Warren. I loved Chloe's character. She was so well written, and I felt for her character. There wasn't enough out there for Steph.
I actually had the reverse problem where I hated Warren because Chloe was the other option.
No. That's great. That's fantastic.
The only thing I can say for the DLC, this DLC right here, is that I hope we don't leave it wishing that we played it first.
No, I highly doubt that. I would be so shocked.
Yeah.
There's no way.
That's the only thing I can hope for. Like, if we get stuff and everything like that, that's great. But, because I can't imagine, it's difficult with prequels where it's like they still kind of reveal some shit from the first thing, So, like, I hope they don't do any of that with this because, if... Let's say you're gonna play this game late and you get the DLC and everything like that. If this is the one that if you should start with the DLC first, then that kind of blows,
It does, but okay. On the other foot, or sorry, on the other hand, if you play this DLC and it inspires you to go back and watch our walkthrough or play the game yourself, and then you kind of get different perspective into different things that Steph said. Like, maybe there are gonna be things that Steph said that didn't really make much sense to us out of context, and it'll be kind of illuminated in the DLC. If they do that, I'm okay with it. I actually prefer that, because then that breathes life into something we already played, which I like.
We're gonna have to play foosball. We're gonna like do shit like that, and so that should be good. But I mean, I guess I'm done too. What I'll say is, I have an idea of what of a game we can get into, but in terms of like another story-driven game, a lot of this game is reminding me of one of my all-time favorite story games, and I've brought it up on multiple videos, and I brought it up to you before. Is this game Night in the Woods?
Yes. Yep.
And I think, and I don't want to. I'm not gonna hype the game at all, but I think if we were to play it, you would see the similarities to True Colors, and I think some of the gripes we have, I think that game actually answers it. I think they do.
Really?
I think yeah, and like there's key things I'm specifically thinking about. So like I don't want to get into it, you know, in case we do play it. It is October. There's quite a few non-story games coming out. One of them being Metroid Dread. I don't know if I mean I'm definitely gonna play that game. I don't know if that's a game that I just play for me or if I do recordings.
Yeah.
That I'll decide. But that doesn't seem like a share kind of game. Like you're just gonna sit there like, wow, yeah, you really missed that shot. Like you know, like it feels like. And there's also Back for Blood. So you got to get an Xbox. You're also moving this week, right? This week.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's
that's right.
So
yeah,
you're moving.
Yeah, I'm moving to New Haven.
That's right. He's gonna jump into a fucking mine shaft.
That's right. I'm gonna go steal stuff from Alex.
Could you imagine you actually go to New Haven, Colorado, and you see a record store and there's a lesbian couple in there, and you're like, not again.
You know, like, she's mine.
You're
gonna like, make you straight.
Please, not again. It wouldn't be the first time you've fallen
That's
in
right.
love with a lesbian couple.
Won't be the last. That's right. That's right. It's not friend zone if they're lesbian.
But yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, there are going to be a lot of potential games on the docket for us.
Yeah, no, and there's also so for you guys, we're talking like this. Today is the day that we're posting this. This is October 4th. October 5th, Smash new character. I will be doing a react because you have a job and I don't.
Stop. What the fuck?
I do have a job. It's just I don't work on Tuesdays. So I mean, again, by the time we post this fucking video, the reaction will already be up. Maybe we'll play some Smash on some days. You know, who fucking knows? So
yeah,
Dread is gonna come out before this fucking video comes out. I don't think Back for Blood will be out by the time this comes out, but that's another one where I feel like maybe I'll try streaming. I don't know.
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
Because but in order for us to do it together, you need to get a fucking Xbox. So
I know, I gotta work on that.
Yeah, but no. So I mean, we do, like you said, potential things on the docket in terms of us posting. Definitely, I would love to do Night in the Woods. If you do have any other games that you're thinking of maybe in the backlog that I can't think about.
Yeah.
But also,
I'll take a look.
Anyone watching, if there's something that you want to see us play, go right ahead. You know, tell us.
Yeah.
If it's 2K, that'll just be Jan.
That's right.
But if there's any story games you want us to play, fuck yeah, we'll do it.
Hell yeah.
I wish.
But they have to be good stories, damn it.
Yeah, please. Like Lake was fucking entertaining, but I do love that we got to play Lake before we got to play this because there were so many similarities again with that, and it was just such a shit show. But I think our playthrough of Lake is gonna hold a place in my heart because it was such a fucking mess.
It was so funny. Yeah. Like, yes, the story and the characters, significant downgrade from Life is Strange, but we will never get the opportunity to drive a mail truck and then get sent into the zero ever again.
And it's funny how so many things like that we've been playing have so many connections across the board where we're referencing them, like Backbone. Anything with water, it's in competition with Backbone, but now they have to compete with the sink water that we saw. The zero is always going to be a reference. Fucking flipping around any body of water that's a lake, it's going to be about Meredith's story. And now we get to add references to Life is Strange. So I mean, you know, if you guys have been watching what we've been putting out lately, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I thank you guys for watching. Let your friends know.
I hope you guys can keep supporting us. Let everyone know that BrothSyndi is, back on the YouTube ground. I mean, look, we're putting quality content out there. I personally think that this game is the best thing that we put on this channel since we've come back to YouTube.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I would say the low lights of Last of Us, because we didn't finish that because we didn't get as much interest. I do think that could have been competition, but
100%.
Yeah, because you had some very good reactions. When oh my god, when you shoot that guy in the neck, that goes down in history. That goes down in history as one of the best things we've ever done. And when you're in the window stabbing people.
Oh, that was amazing.
Oh my god. Oh god. Yeah, no. So yeah,
they just kept coming in. What do you want me to do?
You cleared a whole fucking street of people in one window.
I know. I would do it again. My inner Joel in the hospital came out. I just started yelling Ellie in my head as I took each of them down with a shift to the throat.
Yeah. Incredible.
So, yeah, honestly, fantastic stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoy our next game, and hopefully you guys really did enjoy this series because, like Shiz said, like I've said, I mean, we had such a blast recording this, and, I'm hopeful that our next game will be enjoyable as well. Even if it's not on the same level, it doesn't have to be. I think this set the bar really high.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
There is always going to be a place for the Backbones and the Kentucky Route Zeros of the world. Like, obviously, we would love for every game to be as good as Life is Strange, but I think those games have their own spot on our channel, and if anything, those games make games like Life is Strange mean that much more.
Right.
Because it's even more enjoyable, So yeah, I mean, if you have nothing else to say, I guess we can end it here.
Yeah, I think this is it.
Yeah,
we did end up hitting an hour, even though we said we weren't going to. Yeah. As always, I'm Shiz.
That's right. I'm Jan. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. Tell me if you think there is a better 11-part series on YouTube, and if you think there is, we're gonna block. You're getting banned on everything.
And and don't be one of those people that comment with a go promote on this website. Yeah, no, we're not gonna do that.
No.
This is
we're only gonna post this to our OnlyFans, and that's it.
That's it. The Patreon wasn't working out, so we're gonna show a whole. Okay. If you want the behind the scenes look, we'll really show it to you.
Oh my god. All right, I want to end it on that note. That is fantastic. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe regarding breaking news that Shiz just shared. I don't even know whose hole it's just gonna be there.
You know what? It's gonna be a half elf hole. With that being said, hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.
See ya.